Magic 107.5, Brian Cameron, Uncensored. The last time I saw you was on stage. I was at One Music Fest.
You were?
In the crowd.
Did you like
with
it?
Yes, with everybody else. And people were like, what you doing out here? I said, I want to see my girl from down here with everybody else. And that was a great set for you.
Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time on that stage.
Let's start off with this. Mm-hmm. Are you going to give Atlanta more props?
Absolutely. I already
Because it's 404 Day. I'm just saying now.
Listen.
Oh, yeah, please.
Now, I don't put my number out there, but I still got my 404 number.
That's what I'm talking about. On 404 Day?
Yeah. Every time people see it, they're like, oh, you're from Atlanta. I'm like, yeah.
So you let everybody know?
Yes, I'm a Georgia peach.
That's right. When was the last time? I mean, I'm thinking about how far we go back and the fact that there's a question that people ask. And I say, you have grown up in an age of social media where no other child star prodigy has had to go through all of this, right? Mm-hmm. I saw somebody that said years ago, whatever happened to Chloe and Halle, right? Because they felt like it was a space where they expected after, Beyonce and all that, there was just going to be all these things. And all of a sudden, all of these things really happened. Mm-hmm. And it's like, whatever happened to Chloe and Halle? It's like they almost felt like it was, they wanted you to stay a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, you're about to be, 25?
Yes, I'm going to be 25.
July 1st?
Yes.
Come on. You know I do this.
Come on. The thing is, the same people who say that weren't fans of Halle and I when we had our Ungodly Hour album out. The Kids Are All Right. So it's a bunch of people who are just putting in their 2 cents now just to really say things.
Right.
Because Sis and I, we've been underground for a minute. And the same people who, talk, they weren't around then or giving us our props then. And it's like now they want to talk trash for some reason. So I'm really protective over my sister and I. So I'm like, don't mess with us.
Yeah. And even, can you talk about your team? Because I think a lot of times people see all the things that are coming to fruition for you.
Yes.
But talk about your team, because I'm sure there's somebody that is behind the scenes that is keeping you on point.
Absolutely. I have to give a huge shout out to my godmom, Shamay, who's also my manager with Parkwood and Columbia and CAA. So I have the best team ever because I'm doing a lot right now, from the music and to the acting space. And now I'm about to go on tour, and it's really hard sometimes, but God has been answering my prayers. It's everything I've been asking for, and it's happening. So I'm like, you know what? I can sleep when I'm dead, and I'm just going to keep putting in the work until I really get to where I've always wanted to since I was a little girl.
So when you think about going from actually being a choir member in something way back in the day to this film, does that seem like a 360 moment for you?
It definitely does. And you want to know the even crazier thing? When I was 3.5, I went on my first audition, and that was for Fighting Temptations, where I got the role of younger Lily, who was played by Beyonce. That was shot in Atlanta during the summertime, and I just turned 4. And even with Praises, that was shot in Atlanta. I was 23. I turned 24 on set, and it's a movie about, a praise team and gospel music and God. So it's really crazy how things constantly come full circle, and there are never, ever any coincidences in life. And I'm happy that I was able to do this project to share my love of music and also God, because I'm never shy of talking about how the only reason why I'm here is because of him.
Why do you think, and you touched on that, and you've talked about it before in some other interviews about why people would expect for you to stay in a certain space, but not embrace the creativity and the art, which, like you said, you've been known for. What do you say to those people? Like, you don't expect me to grow up?
Well, everyone has a right to an opinion, to be honest with you. So I can't be mad at them.
Right.
Like, we can like something or not like it. That's what art is. Not everybody will like the same thing. And the people that get it, I am so happy that they do. And the ones that don't, I'm happy that they're talking about it. So I just keep my head held down and keep working.
I got a tweet that I wanted to read.
Okay.
And because it's from your fans, and it had 266,000 views. They were talking about your latest project. It says, if Chloe Bailey has 1 million fans, I'm one of them. If Chloe Bailey has 1,000 fans, I'm one of them. If Chloe Bailey has 1 fan, it's me. If Chloe Bailey has 0 fans, it means I have left this world. If it's the world against Chloe Bailey, then I'm against the world.
Oh, wow.
That's
so sweet.
But it was so deep. Like that fandom. What do you say when somebody, they talking about you?
Man, I have the best fans ever because the times where I want to clap back and say things,
Right.
they do it for me. And it got to a point where I took Twitter off of my phone.
Really?
And if I want to tweet things, I'll
Yeah.
send it to my team to post for me or content. And, I'll go on Twitter for like asking
24
questions or
hours,
things
ask me
like-
anything.
Yeah, and then I'll delete it
Yeah.
again because Twitter's the one place where all of the negative things go directly to your eye. You see your name trending, you click on it, it's just a long thread of negative things about you, and we're human. That will bother and affect any and everybody. And
Right.
when it gets to a point where you start changing yourself and your daily activities based off of what you think people will say on Twitter about you, it's really not healthy.
Right.
So I got rid of it. But knowing that I have fans out there who are like that, who support me and rock with me and fight for me, even when I'm not online to defend myself, it really means everything.
When you talk about, your album, it was number 1 on iTunes, and your fans have come out and shown out. But some of the things that you talk about pain a lot. You talk about therapy, even in some of the interviews. What mental health? Talk about that because I know for a fact that a lot of people really don't even know they have these things until they talk about it. Like, can you talk about it a little bit?
Yes, mental health is so important and so key. And like you said, I don't think many of us realize, when we go through things and it's traumatizing how it can affect us as human beings. And hurt people. And I don't ever want to continue that cycle just because I've been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a huge advocate for therapy. I am a huge advocate of, speaking up, talking to people. And I said this somewhere else because someone was like, why do I have to pay to talk to somebody to make me feel better? And I said, you pay for your clothes, you pay to go to the barber, we pay to get our nails done, we pay to get lash extensions. So why not do that to work on our inner selves as well?
Right.
Because our outer shell's worthless without this being okay.
Yeah, and as you can see, I have on a hat, so I haven't paid to get my hair done. I need a man. I haven't paid. So that's more of a Chloe thing. But the therapy thing, I do 100% agree with. When you're having a day, and I have to say this, like I was on time for this interview. I had on my favorite pre-COVID sweatpants. I came out and then I spilled some coffee on it. And I had to go home. And so I left my wallet, I left my phone. Woo. When you're having a bad day, coming off the premiere last night, you've been just doing interviews, whatever, you got to do it for TV. When something doesn't go right and mom is going on about her business, and getting ready, and she's already here, and then you pointing at her. Hello, okay, amen.
She doesn't like the
amen
camera.
In the back. Yeah, but when it starts to go wrong, how do you rebalance yourself? Because I was like, you know what, just put on something else and go on down there.
Can I be completely honest with
That's
you?
what I've been knowing you a while. I hope you would. You gonna start lying to me now?
No,
okay.
Every day has been chaos.
Really?
Absolutely. 1,000%. It's been chaotic and it's been chaos. However, it just shows how good God is because he allows me to find the loopholes to make it look like,
right. Yeah.
So just got to keep it pushing.
Okay, without giving too much, what was one time you was like, man, today, like what was it that happened?
I mean, it was just yesterday.
What happened yesterday?
Our flight got canceled. We had to get on a late night flight. We got in at 4 a.m. I had I had to get up at 6. That's an everyday thing. I didn't have any clothes. Had to do that, scramble. Then in the middle of all that, tour rehearsals. I'm breaking down because I'm tired. It's a lot.
So when you say was it a moment where you were like mentally having to reset? Like, what do you do? Do you have to go off and meditate? Do you have to go off and just talk to God and say a prayer like, just get me through this?
God, please just hold me up because I can't hold myself up any longer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love this shit.
Oh, that's right. It's Brian Cameron Uncensored.
Okay.
Shit. Okay.
I love this, and my passion and love for it always outweighs all of the craziness that goes along with it. And I think people don't realize because they just see the glitz and the glam and they just see the front-facing thing. They don't know all the work that goes behind it.
Right.
They don't know all the blood, the sweat, and the tears. And for me, this is just the beginning, and I know, God willing, the higher that the journey goes, I know it'll just get more and more difficult, but I know that God prepares me with each situation. And instead of crumbling at things when they get harder, it just makes me stronger and smarter and wiser and quicker on my feet.
What is the dynamic of having a sibling to go through it together? Because I mean, after I saw the Will Smith movie about the father and Venus and Serena, I was like, when you're going through that and you're in the limelight and so much pressure, having somebody that is exactly like you, who probably, y'all definitely laugh at the same jokes.
Yes, we do.
What is it like to have somebody, do you like call her in the middle of the night like, man, you do see this that's on Twitter, or she be like, do you see what they saying about the movie?
Yes.
Like, how does the exchange go?
We were just on FaceTime this morning, 3 a.m. her time.
Yeah.
And it's nice to not go through this alone. And even when we were growing up in the house, around middle school, I got homeschooled, and we were really all that we had.
Right.
So we've been putting in the grind and going through similar situations together. So when I hurt, she hurts, and vice versa. When I'm happy and laugh, she's vice versa. So it's like we're each other's heartbeat, and we feel the same thing, even though we're two completely different individuals. But I'm grateful that God blessed me with a partner like her in this life. So I didn't have to go through the fundamental years of my life alone.
So what's the birthday plan?
I want to go.
I mean, are you going to end up in Vegas?
I want to go to St. Lucia for my birthday.
Word. Okay.
Yeah. And I just want to go away for like a week or two and just swim and get really tan and just eat good food.
So you're just going to unplug.
Yeah.
And just enjoy the beach.
Yes.
And the food.
Yes. Those are my two favorite things.
Beaches and food.
Yeah.
And we agree on that
Yes.
part. So when you talk about your project, I mean, people have talked about the fact that you did some of the engineering, you did some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like it was a body of work where you had to leave some things behind, where like something didn't make it? Is there something that will come out later on, or it might be a snippet?
I always create. So
Yeah.
there's so many songs. Like I could have made 4 different projects with the music I created
Really?
for this project. Yes. So I'm sure some of the music that'll come out, it'll be from that time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said, what are the things that I left behind? The first thing I thought of wasn't musically, but what I had to shed in order to grow. And the music helped me do that. You know, there were situations, there were people I had to let go, boundaries I had to set for myself. And I think it's really important that self-care is also protecting your space and your energy.
Right. What was one of the things that you felt like was a boundary that, I remember when I first started having therapy myself, my therapist said, this is your antenna, right? And you can see things coming because you see them, coming from far. She said, yours is like this. It's broken and it's bent. It's hanging down behind your head. Like, what was one of the boundaries that you thought that you had not set for yourself?
I'm just such an open book. And because I go into any situation with pure intentions, I expect people to do the same. But you can't always expect that. And it's not their fault,
Right.
but it's me.
Right.
And something else that I am also learning to grasp is that I have to understand that I deserve this. The life that I'm living, the blessings that are coming, I deserve it. And a lot of times I have like imposter syndrome. And as hard as I work, there'll be a part of me that's like, oh, well, it's still... But I just have to realize I deserve this. And I got to be proud of myself and be proud of the blessings that God has been blessing me with.
Right.
So that's something that I'm really actively working on.
I'm glad you said that because I feel like, and I had to learn this, and it really hurt my feelings. My first 3 therapy sessions, I was just like, hang up the phone and cry.
Yeah. Yes.
I was like, she is really not pulling no punches because it was spiritually based. And she was like, a lot of these things you're doing, Ryan, is because you're not grounded. And she said, one of the things I had was nice guy syndrome, right? No matter how somebody treated me or talked about me or said it, whatever, I felt like if I kept doing good things for them, one day they'd be like, you know what? Ryan's really a nice guy.
And that's not the case.
And she was like, that's not.
You give and give and give, and they'll take and take and take until you stop.
Right. So when you talk about pain, I've heard you say a lot. Walk me through what in your writing process. Did you relive these moments?
Yes.
And how do you put that on paper?
Yeah, with Make It Look Easy, I wrote that in 5 minutes. I was crying the whole time. The thoughts will come so fast to me. I do the notes on my iPhone.
Right.
And even when I was recording in the booth, I was just crying, and I had to do a lot of different takes so you don't hear it. And it was really powerful for me because in a moment where I felt like my world was caving in again, I use music as my safety net. And every time I listen to it, I'm happy that I was that vulnerable because maybe someone going through the same thing can feel the same way because we're all going through shit and we just all play it off better and act like we're okay and we make it look easy.
Right.
So it's not just me. who's going through stuff. It's every single one of us, even in this room.
Yeah.
And I think when we're honest about it, we'll help someone else feel less alone when they're going through something.
So how's it going to be? I just remember, from Janet Jackson back in the day on tour when she would do Anytime, Any Place, or some of the songs she would do. It ended up becoming like an emotional moment where they were like, oh, Chloe broke down when she did Make It Look Easy on stage. Do you think that's going to happen?
Listen, I'm a Cancer.
Yeah.
I am very in tune with my emotions. That will definitely happen.
Well, don't do the song first. Don't start off with that.
Well, I'm going on the In Pieces tour. I'm doing every song on the album. And I think that's what makes those moments special when you connect with it.
Yeah.
And I just got to let the music take me where it's supposed to take me.
So will the set list change every night?
Oh, no. We have been so detailed. The choreo with the dancers, the lighting, the visuals. Nope.
Okay. How you gonna come out? Are you gonna use you're gonna come out from under the ground?
Now, why would I tell you
that? You're gonna come out from
just
the ceiling?
Come and see it.
I'm saying.
I don't want to give it away.
I'm gonna come in. Okay,
it.
but I'm saying if you come out from under the ground and you didn't tell me, because that seems to be the new thing now, or it's gonna be
why
like
would I want to be predictable?
8 Chloes, and you don't know which one is.
That's been done before.
I know, but these people don't know that.
Yes, they do. I'm trying to be Chloe.
Okay. So what how you're not giving me no clue at all.
Come see the show and find out.
You know what? And then you tapping on okay. But you already got it set out. You know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yes. And I start in a week and I go out to Chicago, which is the first city, 2 to 3 days early, just so we can rehearse out the kinks and everything.
But you can't walk through malls. You can't just show up and walk through lobbies anymore with this level of fandom that you have. Where do you stay?
My problem is that I think I can, because in my head I'm just Chloe, and everyone around me is like, you have to be more aware, because to me I'm just Chloe from Atlanta, and I'm like da 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 da.
Right.
But it's gotten to a point where I do have.
You heard that tweet?
Yeah, I do have to have security. I do have to be mindful, because it does get scary sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
So,
Is it a thing where you you're gonna get people now that they've already downloaded the album, it's already been #1, that these songs are gonna start to reflect to them, and they're gonna be coming up wanting to express what it meant to them. How is that going to be, you think? Because, nobody wants to be like, make it look easy, change my life, and then be like, I got to catch this plane. Like, how is that going to be for you? Are you going to be able to kind of navigate that space? Because it's going to happen. You know that, right?
Yeah. So, to be honest, I don't know if it's the creative in me or the mushball in me or the empath in me. I love shit like that, because I know that what I created is bigger than me, and I'm fulfilling my purpose that God put me on the earth to do. Now, all the other stuff like the tugging and pulling, please don't do that.
Don't do that.
I get anxiety.
Nobody gonna come in and snip a piece of hair.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That is a wrap.
What do you enjoy more? Getting that script and saying, okay, I'm gonna change this person into this make-believe character that I want to be believable, or walking out on that stage?
It gives me different feelings, but if I had to rate.
Yeah, well, tell me. I don't want you to rate anything. Just tell me about what each feeling gives you. Let's just say when you walk out on that stage and you see that crowd of people, describe that. Is it butterflies?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, walk me through it.
I get so nervous no matter what performance it is.
Okay.
Even at one, I just get so nervous, even if it's a room full of 20 people or thousands. And I think that just goes to show my passion for the art, and that I know how vulnerable and open I'm going to be on that stage. But when I walk out, all of the nerves disappear, and it's like I get wings, and I feel like I'm flying, and it's the most confident I have ever felt when I'm on that stage. And the Chloe on stage is how people think the Chloe is in real life. And, the Chloe off the stage, she's very insecure. She's very in her head. She doubts herself a lot. But the Chloe on the stage is like, and it's crazy because I'll see videos where I'm yelling at the audience sometimes. And I'll be more aggressive and commanding and dominating. And I'm like, oh.
That's me?
That's me on stage.
So have you had those kind of conversations with B? Because everybody has heard and knows about Sasha Fierce and this other person. I mean, I've been knowing B since she was 15. Always the sweetest, most gentle spirit ever. But like you said, that stage, Is there who is the Chloe on stage? Does she have a name?
No, I just think she's the Chloe that I'm meant to be. And the Chloe off the stage is Chloe who is in her head and boxes herself in because of what she thinks the world will think of her.
Right.
And the Chloe on stage doesn't give two shits.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so which one would you like to be more of?
The one on stage.
And how do you get that? How do you reach that point where you can be as
Setting
confident?
boundaries.
Okay.
I think setting boundaries and just getting out of my head.
And there's certain things you're just not going to tolerate.
Yeah. Yep.
But you see them coming ahead of time. Do you say, hey, because of what I've learned is if you tell somebody, listen, we can get past this, but I'm letting you know if it happens again, I'm out.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great about that. I block easily.
And you be out.
I'll say it one time, and if I feel like something's disrupting my peace
Right.
or causing me disruption internally,
You're out.
quick.
No coming back?
No, quick.
No flowers?
No.
No standing outside with a ukulele and singing?
No.
None of
Quick.
that. It's
Goodbye.
over. All right, now when you're acting, how's that feel? When they say, all right, Chloe, we need you on set in 5, and you done ran the lines, you got it down.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
So that's a different kind of nerves, too.
Right.
I get nervous for any time I'm putting myself on display, to say the least. But why I've fallen more in love with acting within the past 2 years is because I've released and let go of this shell of perfection.
Right.
And I just kind of let the scene take my character where it needs to go. And when I rehearse the lines, I'll rehearse the lines, but I don't like to set exactly how I'm going to say something or emphasize a word or inflection. No, because that's not how we are in regular life.
Right.
I just let, my scene partner and the character kind of take me in that moment. And in a way, that's also therapeutic and freeing because feelings that you've locked away deep inside, if that character has that part of them, you're able to release it in that moment by reenacting things. And it's healthy, to be honest.
Would you consider Broadway?
Absolutely.
Has anybody asked you?
I want an EGOT. So the thing is, if they ask me, I will say yes. And there's this role I recently got in A Girl from North Country, which is a Tony Award-winning musical,
Right.
and they're doing a film adaptation from it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be really fun. So that's me inching my way into the Broadway space.
Yeah, because I know some people who are probably going to send some trial balloons to see if you would be interested in something like that.
I would love to, with the performing, the dancing, the singing.
And it's a
acting.
different crowd every night.
Absolutely. I live for that.
Yeah, there's a different audience
Yeah.
every night. Well, we want to say, we are so happy with all the things that you've been able to accomplish. And, I'll go on record as saying that, being from Atlanta, it's just something about Atlanta people. We just don't seem to get caught up in all of it. It's just something about the South. And you're exactly the same as you've always been.
It's the Southern hospitality.
It's the Southern hospitality.
And I still remember at the Hawks games when Sis and I would do the national anthem.
That's
and
right.
you'd always be so supportive of us. I think we were 11 and 9. So thank you for just always being so kind and rocking with us. Because I remember that was a hard time for us. We'd bust out singing to all these big shot Atlanta producers. And they'd be like, ha, ha. Sometimes blow us off, but you never did. So
Thank you very much.
I will never forget that.
I appreciate that.
I
And I
never
appreciate you bringing that up, too.
Yeah.
So, for people who are the gospel purist, I remember when Kirk Franklin first came out, it was like the backlash. Oh, my God, he's doing this.
Yeah.
Is it a mashup of a Stomp the Yard and You Got Served and, it's all of those things. But people, are you going to see some gospel purists have some things to say about this project, you think?
I hope they love it.
Okay.
I think all audiences will love it, to be honest, because the core message and meaning behind it is come as you are, and God will love you in any shape or form. And God has made all of us in his image, and he's made us perfectly in his image. So who are we to judge one another to think that that's otherwise?
Right. Final question. Somebody's listening to this interview, and they are going through something where they feel as if they can't reach out because of, and I get tired of saying the stigma in the community, talking about mental health. I think we're starting to change that narrative. I know I talk about it a lot on my show with my own personal growth. But what would you say to somebody who is listening to this right now who's like, this is resonating with me, but I need to find some peace in the fact that I have these feelings?
I would say confide in someone that's close to you, whether it's a family member or friend. And in the rare case that you don't have that, find someone to talk to, a therapist, a counselor, a hotline, and find something to be able to put those emotions out in. My outlet was music. Whenever I felt like I couldn't hold it all on my own,
Right.
I had people to fall back on, like my godmom and my siblings and, you know, God. And I also had music to be able to use that as my journal almost in a way and get it out. And just give yourself grace and know that it comes in seasons. So that feeling won't last forever.